Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. PC Gamer recently did a whole spread on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Most of the information in there, I feel like we've kind of discussed before on this channel, but there is one big tidbit that I don't believe was previously revealed that they do talk about in depth. So I thought it was worth the video to go ahead and walk through it. First, let's talk about some of the things we've spoken about before that they do reinforce. So obviously you're going to be playing as a nomad elder vampire, and the PC Gamer article really emphasizes that you are going to be powerful right off the jump. This isn't going to be a situation where you're going to feel weak in the beginning and then slowly you become a respectable vampire. Right from the beginning, you're going to be able to punch people across rooms and climb up surfaces with ease, things of that nature. And yet, at the same time, because you have been bound by younger vampires and stripped of many of your abilities, there's still supposedly going to be a real sense of progression as you slowly gain those abilities back while unraveling the mystery of what has happened to you. So we'll see how all of that works out. I do at least appreciate, as I've mentioned before, that it seems like they're trying to do something different. We've had the whole start from the bottom and go to the top type of tale over and over and over again. It's interesting to see a developer try to basically provide a story where you start off extremely powerful and then the journey is really about you becoming even more powerful, which I think is fitting for an elder vampire tale. It's also interesting how they're handling persuasion and your reputation with other vampires. So this isn't a case where your character has amnesia and doesn't remember the past. It's more so the game gives you the opportunity to make up your own past, to decide for yourself what information you want to share with people and how you want other people to see you. And consequently, there isn't a global reputation system. So the way one vampire views you might be completely different from how another vampire views you based strictly on the interactions that you have had with these two separate people. And so one character may think that you're someone who's very merciful, very kind, and that you're always willing to help, while another character might believe that you are someone who is essentially dark, cruel, and always looking to brutalize people because that is the aspect of your personality that you have consistently shown them. Very, very interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing how some of these different mechanics all work together. To be clear, there's nothing in this PC Gamer article that addresses some of the issues that I've had with the game previously that I feel like is missing from the original Bloodline. So there's no talk about, hey, there's a lock picking system, there's a hacking system, there's 4 or 5 different ways to handle all these different quests that come your way. There's no mention of that whatsoever. So more and more and more, I definitely feel like this is going to be a very different game from what we got in the original. But again, like I've said multiple times before, that doesn't mean it won't be good. That doesn't mean it won't be a good game. And it really seems like the Chinese room is doing everything in their power to provide a good experience. So hopefully that's the way it works out. Now, the new tidbit that was provided in this PC Gamer article that I find very interesting is we've had multiple conversations about Fabian, the voice that is inside of your head, and constantly chiming in on different things that you see out in the world. And it's confirmed in this article that Fabian is actually a Malkavian. Now, for those who are not familiar with Bloodlines lore, Malkavian is a particular type of vampire clan, and they automatically receive the Malkavian curse, which essentially drives them insane in different types of ways. So Malkavians are considered to be most especially chaotic and erratic, even compared to other vampires, which are obviously most of the time less stable than, what you would consider regular people. And there were many, many people who were disappointed to hear it was not possible for us to select Malkavian as the clan for our main character. It was undoubtedly one of the most popular clans in the original Bloodlines game. It was one of those options that I think is really best for your second time playing the game, because the curse for your clan basically gave you the gift of prophecy, and you would see dialogue lines and different responses you were capable of that actually foretold things that would happen in the game. And so if you had already played the game and kind of understood that and were able to connect those dots, it was clear the Troika devs put in a ton of work from a writing standpoint to make the Malkavian someone who really, really was connecting the dots way before any other vampire clan was able to. And that was a really, really awesome aspect of the game. You're not going to be able to do that here in the sequel, but again, you're going to have a voice in your head who is of the Malkavian clan. Now, his way of dealing with the curse is different from our original character. He's basically created a persona for himself where he's decided that he is a detective and he's determined to try to figure out crimes and help make people's lives better. And so consequently, he guides you in trying to put together different clues and piece together different things that you find out in the hopes of unraveling some of the mysteries that are plaguing the denizens of Seattle. However, the thing you have to keep in mind is, again, he's created this reality for himself. He's created this persona for himself. And consequently, he doesn't really know what reality is. And during the course of the game, there are going to be multiple times where he clearly tells you things that are not true. And so you're going to have to make a decision as a player as to whether or not you trust Fabian as a guide and how much you can actually take his words at face value. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. And I feel like this could easily go either way. Could be that having Fabian in your head adds another layer of mystery and intrigue to your adventure, and that consequently your dialogues with him become a real highlight and treat of the overall adventure. On the flip side, it could very easily become annoying and feel like an unnecessary layer of complication because it doesn't really add anything to the adventure. I'm very, very curious how the Chinese room is going to handle this and whether or not it turns out that this is a boon. But no matter what, it's definitely very, very different from the experience that we had in Bloodlines. And again, I appreciate them trying to give us something new. And because you're going to have this Malkavian detective in your head, it seems like Bloodlines 2 is going to have a big focus on you solving crimes and solving mysteries. And I actually really like doing that kind of stuff in video games. So all of that greatly appeals to me. One thing I didn't like about how the PC Gamer article presented this information, or I'm not going to say I didn't like it, right? Because I could be wrong about this. Let me state this up front. It could be that I'm the one who's wrong and that I'm not looking at this in the proper way, right? But in the PC Gamer article, when it presents this information, there was some discussion about how mental illness was handled in the original game. And I think this is really about the Vorman sisters. You can basically meet a Malkavian who's you can say that she's schizophrenic, right? So you'll go to her apartment and one day she'll present as one sister and then the next day she'll present as this other sister. And so apparently there was some degree of controversy where there were people who felt like schizophrenia was portrayed as something that was wacky and erratic, whatever. I guess too entertaining, too light. And some folks felt like it was disrespectful. I got to be honest with you, that's odd to me because at the end of the day, she's a vampire with a Malkavian curse. It's not like they were actually saying, hey, this is a person diagnosed with schizophrenia, and this is how people with schizophrenia carry themselves, right? Like this is pure fantasy. And so for me, and so I guess what they were basically trying to say is they have been very careful with the way that Fabian is treated in this game to make sure it's a respectful representation of what mental illness is actually like. And I don't know, that all just seems kind of off to me. I don't feel like the Vorman sisters are disrespectful to a particular group, but I don't consider myself to be part of the mentally ill community. I'm sure some of the people who watch my videos would disagree and absolutely put me in that category, but I don't consider myself to be part of that category. And it may be that I don't have the appropriate level of sensitivity to things that affect them. But there was no point when I was playing Vampire the Masquerade where I was like, man, this girl, this is what schizophrenic people are like, and this must be, if I went to a mental hospital, they would be just like this. Like, they're vampires in a fantasy world, and they were written in a particular way. Like, it's kind of goofy to me, to be honest with you. It's kind of goofy to me, but regardless, looks like some very, very interesting things are happening with Bloodlines 2. I'm definitely planning to play the game when it comes out. It's supposed to come out in October. I don't believe we have a specific release date, but we at least have a release window. And I'm looking forward to sharing more information with all of you about whether or not this game actually lives up in any way to the original. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Hope you all enjoyed them. As always, leave your comments down below. Looking forward to seeing them, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.